The pen tool in Adobe Illustrator allows us to make drawings by adding points to our vector drawing. To find the pen tool, look in your toolbox, and it's the one that looks like an old school writing pen. We're going to click on it. The first thing you need to do is to make sure your fill and stroke is whatever you want it to be. In my case, I don't want to have a fill color, so I've got it selected with null. And I want my stroke color, let's go ahead and make it just plain black. And so we can see I'm going to change my stroke width to something a little bit thick. Okay. To get started, all lines start with a single point. With our pen tool selected, we'll click just once, and you'll notice a point has been made. From here, as we continue to click, it'll create a line between the 2 points that we've created. So as long as we're clicking, the line will continue to be drawn. This is how you can make straight lines in Adobe Illustrator with your pen tool, just by clicking the points that you want to have. In order to deselect this object, notice that all the points, and you can see the line, so it is selected. You can hit Shift, Command, and A, and the object is now deselected. So you've quickly drawn a straight-lined object. In order to draw curved lines, we of course need to start with one click. Then this time we're going to click and drag. Holding down my mouse key, I'm dragging it, and you can see it's created some handles. These handles are called Bezier handles, and they adjust the curve of our line. So as I click and drag, you can see it curves out and a curved line is created. This curved line is associated with this Bezier handle, so the next time I click, it'll create a curved line associated with this Bezier handle. If I click just once, notice that the arc is fully arced out and completed. If I was to click again just once, it will continue making a straight line. So to continuously make several curved lines, we need to click and drag, and then click and drag again. And as long as we click and drag, we're going to create these little handles which will allow us to create curves as we draw. Again, to deselect your line, once you're finished, hit Shift, Command, A, and your line is deselected. Let's look at some of the other things you can do while drawing. I'm going to start and create a curved line. This time, instead of clicking right here, I want to be able to make a sharp drop off of this line. So I'm going to click the point that I just made again, and you'll notice that my icon has changed. When I move in closer to this point, I get a little wedge shape at the just below my mouse. When I click on this, it will delete the little Bezier handle, so the next click I create isn't a curved line, but a straight line. Let's look at that again. I'm going to click and drag, and instead of creating a curved line, I'm going to click on this again, and it will create a straight line. So now I can go from straight to curved really quickly. So this time, if I wanted to curve downward, and I clicked again, I can click and drag this way, and it will create a sharp curve moving forward that way. Again, if I just click, it would create a curve because there's a Bezier handle right there. I'm going to deselect. If you wanted to move any of these points around, remember you can always select your black arrow tool, and when I click on the line, you see it moves all the points at the same time. If I was to choose my white arrow tool, I can click on individual points and move those individual points around as well. This is what makes vector art so amazing, is that you can quickly and easily change up the design you've created. Also, with my direct selection tool, if I click on a point with a Bezier handle, I can click on the handle itself, be very careful that you click on it, and adjust the curve of the line. The final thing I can do, let's choose our pen tool again, and create some lines. I'm going to go real quick. Is I can add points to a line that I've already created. With the line selected, you can see it has an outline, and I've still got my pen tool. Let's say I wanted to add a point in between these 2 points right here. If I was to move my pen tool in close to the line, notice that a little plus sign appears on my icon. If I was to click right here, it would add a point to my line. So now if I choose my direct selection tool, I can always click and move it around as well and make the adjustment. Let me choose my pen tool again. Now if I wanted to delete a point, let's say I wanted to delete this point, notice when I move my line in, a minus sign will appear when I hover over that point itself. If I was to click on that point would be disappeared. So in order to delete points, it's simply a matter of taking your pen tool and hovering over the point you wish to delete. One final thing with the pen tool, if you were wanting to close out an object and not just make a line but actually draw off an object, let's say we can continue drawing by clicking on this point. I'm going to click here. If I was to click back at our starting point, notice that it has a little circle. That circle means it will close off the object. And so now all the points are together and you can quickly create and draw objects that way. Let's erase these and start off with some other type of objects. So this time I'm going to set my fill color to a color and I'm going to set my stroke to null. Now when I start to draw, I can add points, and as I draw, watch when I happen to hit the third point, you'll notice that it has a fill color and it will connect back to my starting point. But as I draw, it will continue to update, and I can draw objects all day long. And to close it off, I'm going to click on my first starting point, and now I have an object fully created with multi-points that has a fill of orange.